feed the kitten, you're going to need a syringe. You can get these in any chemist. Basically just say you need a small syringe, explain it's for feeding kittens, that'll be grand. If you haven't got one of these handy at the time, maybe you might have an eyedropper around the house. When we got these guys originally, what we did basically is we got a bottle and we got rubber gloves, which basically any rubber gloves like this, put the bottle up, squeeze this over it completely and pierced a couple of holes in the top. Then you turn it upside down, it basically works the same as a baby's bottle. Baby's bottle, by the way, normally the nibs on them are a bit too thick for the kittens to actually suckle out of. Now, what you obviously enough want to do basically is have the syringe, because the best thing with syringe is you can actually kind of force feed them. Do you know what I mean? Because they're not going to be used to a syringe; they're going to be looking for nibbles. Right. Okay, you get your cat. Now, the thing with it is, don't go like that and then just bleh, right? Because obviously enough they'll be able to climb out. What you want to do basically is hold them like that. Put your hand under, hold it in front of their. Sorry, this guy's actually gotten about 8 weeks old now. Over like that, right? So the head is just tilting out, and like that. Then blanket over, around, and hold it like that. So it's basically like a baby. Okay. Once you have them held, fill your syringe and dip it into their mouth and then begin to push. They'll naturally just start sucking along on the milk anyway, and they'll be grand then. That should basically do them for the moment, okay? Until you get the cat milk formula and the lactose-free cat milk. Don't overfeed them. Kittens will eat and eat and eat until they die, and you can give them diarrhea. Best way to do is basically, their bellies are very small and they'll expand out. Once the belly is long enough, tall enough, or big enough looking, then they're normally full. They'll generally tend to push the thing away once they're full, once they've gotten used to feeding out of the syringe. But if they're very young, they'll just keep going, because normally the mother cat would bat them out of the way. Now, the next part of this is the horribly unpleasant part of looking after a kitten. What you basically want to do, kittens, when they're young, don't know how to go to the toilet. Much like a drunk at 6 in the morning. But what you need to do is get them, hold up their back, and then warm water. And I'm talking like tepid, lukewarm water, not like boiling hot water. You hold them up and you just wipe their underneath like that, very softly. Okay, until they start to go to the toilet. You'll have to do this with them. Do it before feeding and do it straight after feeding. Right, now kittens should be fed about every 3 to 4 hours, which means you'll have to get up during the night to feed them every 3 to 4 hours, which is a pain, but it's only until the 3rd or 4th week. Once you get to the 4th week, you can start easing that off to about every 6 hours. What I basically did was, I got to about the 4.5 week mark, because I found these guys when they were 2 weeks old, and their eyes hadn't opened yet. And you get to the point they'll start to kind of last longer and longer, and eventually you can just go to bed at your normal hour and get up at your normal hour, and they'll survive. But that should be grand. Is there anything else you can think of? Right.
How often should you? When would you let them out to the garden?
Right, letting them out into the garden. You can only let them out into the garden supervised after about 5 weeks, but be very careful that they're not going near anything like plants that their cats might have marked their territory on, because they can catch things like that, because they wouldn't be inoculated. At 6 weeks, bring them to the vet, and then again at 8 weeks and 12 weeks. I mean, this is if you can afford it, but who can these days? Right. Once they get to about 6 weeks, what you basically do is you start to wean them off the cat milk, right? So what you do basically is you get a saucer, okay, you put a bit of cat milk in, and you put in some kitten food, okay? So you're basically doing here, you get your kitten food, you squeeze in a little bit like that, and just mash that up completely, okay? to do then basically milk, and you keep putting it up to their mouth, and you let them come here. You get the milk, put it up to their mouth, and they'll start to lick it off your finger, right? When you get that, kind of start slowly easing them into it, and they'll start to eat that way, right? I'm not going to let her do that because she tends to. All kittens they'll before they kind of learn how to clean themselves, they generally tend to just stick their head straight into the food and they wind up with it all over their faces. Obviously, basically around the 4th or 5th week, start to ease them onto this. No, the 5th week, leave it till the 5th week. Ease them onto this bit by bit, and then once they have this, they reduce the cat milk to cat food ratio until they're just on solid foods. Once they're on solid foods, they're pretty much ready to go. The one other thing is how to litter train them. Okay, to litter train a cat, you basically pick it up when they're about this age, you put them in, and you get their front paws and you just dig with their paw. Okay? I know we're showing other cats. Right? And they'll basically learn that they can move that about. Once they've learned that about, they understand that that's where they can go and do it. Cats will instinctively toilet train themselves. Yep, I think that's pretty much everything. What? At about 6 weeks or 7 weeks, they should be ready to go to a new home, and they'll be absolutely lovely cats because they're hand-reared, very patient and loving cats. They're great. And yeah, buzzy rooms.